Hey there, first graders. This week we are going to start learning about money. And we have already talked about money a little bit this year in our calendar. So you already know a lot about money, and we're going to learn a little bit more about how to count money and make sure that you're understanding what each of the coins looks like and then what the coin represents, how much money it is. And then also we're going to be practicing how to add those coins together. This is going to be a way that you're going to practice counting on. So if you're counting dimes, you'll be counting on by tens, or if you're doing nickels, you'll be counting on by fives. If you just have pennies, you'll be counting by ones. So we are going to use some of that, what we've learned in math, as counting on strategies to help us when we're counting money. All right, the first thing I want to share with you is what the coins look like. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick, and we're going to look at what the coins look like. So this is the first coin that you would work with, and this is a penny. And I wanted to show you this penny because I want you to see what the penny looks like on the front and what the penny looks like on the back. So remember that the penny is a copper and it's worth 1 cent. If you remember our money song, we say, penny, penny, easily spent, copper, brown, and worth 1 cent. So here's your penny. You have to be able to recognize what the penny looks like from the front and the back. Okay, so you want to make sure that you can recognize the copper penny from the front and the back. And it is worth 1 cent. So this is kind of how we write it when we're talking about money. We use this symbol. This is the dollar sign. And there are no dollars. We're just talking about cents, which shows up on this side of that decimal point right there, that little dot. Okay, so penny, front and back, worth 1 cent and made out of copper, so it's kind of a brownish color. The other coins that we will see are not that copper brown color. They are more of a silver color. So this is the nickel, and the nickel is worth 5 cents. And the nickel is a little bit of a thicker coin than a penny, and it's a little bit bigger than a penny too. Not too much bigger, but a little bit. And this is what the front of the nickel looks like. You'll notice that the coins have presidents on them. This is the front of the nickel, the back of the nickel. And you notice right here it says 5 cents. Okay, so the nickel is a silver color, a little bit thicker than the penny, and this one is worth 5 cents, front and back of a nickel. The next coin is the smallest in size, but it's worth a bit more than the penny or the nickel. But this one is a smaller size. So when you're looking at coins, you'll notice that the dime is just a little bit smaller and even thinner than the penny and the nickel are. This one is worth 10 cents, and this is a dime. So you'll notice the front of the dime over here, and then the back of the dime on this side. It says right here, 1 dime. And the dime is worth 10, and it is a smaller coin in size, but it is a little bit more of what it's worth. It's worth 10 cents. Okay, moving on to the biggest coin in size and the biggest coin in the value is a quarter. The quarter is worth 25 cents, and the quarter is kind of like, we'll start talking about some fractions pretty soon at the end of our year. And we will talk about how 4 quarters makes up a dollar. And so if you had 4 of these big coins, you would have a whole dollar. So these are worth 25 cents. And when you do 25 times 4, that equals 100. And we remember that 100, when you have 100 cents, that's $1. Just like when we had our 100th day of school, we ended up having $1 to put up on our wall. So this is your biggest coin in size and in value, okay, the quarter, and it is worth 25 cents. And I'll show you some quarters here. I want to show you what I have here, and this is kind of funny. This is Lucy's cash register that she plays with. And so I thought it would be helpful if we looked at some of the coins together. And so I'm going to turn my screen down here and hopefully show you some of these coins here. So here's your first coin, a penny, okay? So there's a penny, and then the back of the penny, like that, okay? So those are worth 1 cent. Then moving up a little bit in value is the nickel. Compare the size. Do you see how the size of the nickel is a little bit different? It's a little bit bigger than the penny, but the penny is worth 1, the nickel is worth 5. Okay, then we have the smallest coin in the size, and that is the dime. So the dime is worth 10. There's the front of the dime and the back of the dime. Let's just put those on top of here so you can kind of see that the dime that you're looking at here is the smallest in the size, but it's worth 10 cents. And then we have our biggest coin of all, and that is the quarter. Some of the pictures that you'll notice on the back of quarters have changed over time, but some of them have the bald eagle on the back, which we learned about in our American symbols. The quarter is the biggest coin in its size, and it's worth 25 cents, so it's a bit more than the rest of the coins. If you had a whole pocket full of quarters, you would have more money than if you had a whole pocket full of pennies, okay? So now what I want to do is start practicing counting on. So when you have some of these coins, you're going to need to be either counting on by ones. If you're adding pennies to a nickel, you would put 5 and then count on by ones. If you are adding nickels on, you're going to count these by 5s because these are worth 5. So 5, 10, 15. If you are counting on with dimes, if you have some dimes to count up, you would be counting on, you'd be skip counting by 10s because these are worth 10. 10, 20, 30, 40. Those are worth 10. And then the quarters, you would count by 25. These ones are a little trickier, but I always remember that 4 quarters is going to add up to $1. So that's something that might be helpful for you too, is that 4 quarters are going to add up to $1. Okay? So now let's take a look at, let's say that we started out in our pocket with 1 dime, and then we added on 4 more pennies. So what we need to be able to do is take these coins here and know the total value that we have. So what we're going to do is skip count. You're going to have to start with 10 in your head, and then we're going to count on from there. With pennies, you are counting on by 1. So start with 10 in your head. So counting a dime and pennies, it would sound like this. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Because I'm counting on by 1. Anytime you're counting on from a penny, you're just adding 1 every time that you touch the penny. Okay, let's say that instead of a dime, I had a nickel in my pocket and 4 pennies. So what I want to know here is what's the total number of coins, the total value of these coins that I have in my pocket. To figure this out, you could put 5 in your head because that's going to be the value of a nickel, and then you count on by ones. So it would sound something like this. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 9 cents that I have right here. Okay, and then if you had a quarter and some pennies, you would have more money because a quarter is worth more. So to figure out this total value of these coins, you have to start with 25 in your head and then count on by ones. So it would sound something like this. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. This is 29 cents. Okay, so sometimes you'll see just a mix of coins. Let's say I just put some of these out here, and then I want to know how much I have together. It might be helpful to group your types of coins together. So I know I have pennies here. Looks like these are going to be my dimes, and then I'm going to have my nickels. I'm going to order this 10s, 5s, and 1s. 10s, 5s, and 1s. Dime, nickel, penny. To count this, I would first skip count by 10. Then I would count on from there by skip counting by 5s, and then I would do skip counting by 1s when I get to the pennies. So listen to how this would sound when we're counting the value of these coins. If all of these were in my pocket and I wanted to count them up, it would sound like this. 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Okay, so you have to be able to switch back between counting by tens, counting by fives, counting by ones, because the value of those coins, you have to remember 10 here for a dime, 5 for a nickel, and 1 for a penny. Okay, let me show you one more. Let's say that I add a few more dimes into my pocket. Maybe I did some chores at home, and so I got my allowance for the week, and I got all these extra coins that my mom gave me for feeding the cats. Let's do a couple more pennies in there. We're gonna count on. Okay, and so then I get all this money in my pocket, and I'm wondering, well, how much do I even have? So what I would do, like I have here, is I sorted them into groups. I have my dimes together, my nickels together, and my pennies together. So I'm going to count these up by skip counting. Starting with tens, then I'll skip count by fives, and then I will skip count by ones. So listen to how I skip count. Here we go. 10, 20, 30, 40. Now I'm going to do fives. 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. And now I'm going to count by ones. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78. I have 78 cents here, getting close to $1. Alrighty, so that is what I'm going to have you just work on for the first couple of days in your math packet, is knowing the value of coins and then being able to know what they look like. So if you see penny, penny, easily spent, copper, brown, and worth 1 cent. Okay, those are our pennies. Then we have nickel, nickel, thick and fat. You're worth 5 cents. I know that. Thicker and a little bit fatter. Okay, then we have our dime, little, dime, dime, little and thin. I remember you're worth 10. Good. And then our big one, quarter, quarter, big and bold. You're worth 25, I'm told. Okay, so remember that little song that we've been singing all year, and hopefully that will help you as you go through your math pages for this week, and keep watching the videos that I'll record for you about money, and you will see a lesson in I Ready for you on money on Friday. Okay, have a good day, guys.